Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. That's how it goes. Everybody knows.
And welcome to the Grassroots Connection, where we provide the information you need to make an informed decision. It's another beautiful day in Columbia, South Carolina, and want to give out our call numbers today. That's woic.com, woic.com. You enter that into your search engine or browser, and our homepage pops up. Once that pops up, you can scroll down, hit Grassroots Connection, brings you into our chat room and into our stream. I have to make some apologies today because our chat room is kind of freaky. Something's going on. We can't really use it the way we typically do. So please excuse us. Don't know exactly what's going on, but we'll be checking it out after the show to find out what's going on with our chat room. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be back up and ready to go. Okay? So just know we're working on it. You can reach us through our phone lines, if not the chat room. And the phone line locally is 742-1230. That's 742-1230. And toll free at 888-671-7278. All right, so I think we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get into our story today. We're going to be looking at several different articles coming out around the same time, mostly to do with what I call the encroaching police state. First one, just to go ahead and get started here, that comes out of InfoWars, yeah. September 21st, 2010, freedetainees.org is a website where you can access this article. That's freedetainees.org. And the free detainees is one word. And this one looks like it was posted by Kurt Nimmo. And here we go. This last Sunday, a young man of Lebanese descent was arrested. Sami Samer Hassan, 22 years old and a permanent resident alien who works at a neighborhood bakery, allegedly tried to set off explosives in a busy part of Chicago. However, the explosives weren't actually explosives. It was fake, provided to this brother by what turned out to be an FBI informant from one source. And I quote, "The arrest stemmed from an investigation conducted by the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, JTTF. Hassan was charged with one count each of attempting use of a weapon of mass destruction and attempted use of an explosive." End quote. Weapons of mass destruction. A fake bomb provided by the FBI. That's right, the FBI gave him the bomb, and it was fake. This young man is 22 years old. He may never have done any of this without the encouragement of the informant. This has been a common theme in the latest wave of arrest of Muslims. It's called entrapment. It generally is not used much against non-Muslims because of the legal issues. It's a ready-made defense for any good attorney. It's called entrapment. But when it's a Muslim, no one bats an eyelash. People are so brainwashed by the media that they will justify anything. Hassan ultimately decided, no doubt with the encouragement of the cooperating witness, to detonate an explosive device in the Wrigleyville area of Chicago. He planned to cause a blast on the weekend night in order to inflict maximum damage. After that, an undercover agent was introduced to the plotter by his cooperating associate in July. If you read the complaint, you will see that this quote-unquote plotter may well have been plotted, may well not have plotted anything without the encouragement and support of the FBI informants. In fact, the FBI provided the fake bomb. Did I mention that? Yeah, I guess so. And to quote, on Saturday night, Hassan met with the agent who provided him with a backpack that he thought contained a high-powered explosive device. The undercover agent showed him how to operate the device. The explosive device was made of inert materials and was incapable of detonating, even though it was designed by the FBI to look authentic, end quote. Entrapment. It's an outrage. How can this even make it to court? Easily. He's Muslim. Therefore, what the general public sees, a terrorist. Yeah. If you're Muslim, you gotta be a terrorist. Come on, folks. You know what I'm talking about here. Anyway, and this is a quote. Both men left in a rented car headed towards Wrigleyville. Hassan was under constant surveillance, and agents watched as he placed the fake explosive device into a trash receptacle, after which he was arrested and the fake device recovered. The complaint alleges that the suspect's motivation for planning this violent attack was a combination of his personal greed and political motivation, according to the complaint. And I quote, in order to gain intelligence from Hassan, the CS had, on his or her own volition, previously advised Hassan that she knew people that could aid Hassan in his proposed violent attack. Boy, it sounds like a lot of legal crap to say that we entrapped him. In other words, the cooperating witness suggested and encouraged Hassan to find a source to pay them for this alleged act. You can clearly see that this entire scheme was planned by the FBI. And if Hassan was truly willing to go through with it, it's only through the encouragement of the FBI. All right? So now that's number one article. We've got a few minutes, so I want to get into the next one. And this one comes out of Yahoo News. All right. And this is September 21st. Washington AFP. The FBI overstepped its authority in investigating left-wing domestic groups after the September 11, 2001 attacks, and then misled Congress about its actions. An Inspector General's report has said. The report said the FBI improperly used the cover of, quote-unquote, terrorism to investigate a number of domestic activist groups from 2001 to 2006, including Greenpeace, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, and the pacifist Thomas Morton Center. The Justice Department Inspector General's report, requested by Congress 4 years ago, said that the FBI classified these investigations as, and I quote, domestic terrorism cases, end quote, but had little to back this up. It said this was based on potential crimes, including trespassing and vandalism. Man, I can't believe I'm reading that. End quote, that could alternatively have been classified differently. Yeah, I would think so. The report also said that the FBI, and I quote, made false and misleading statements to Congress, end quote, about the investigations, including surveillance of anti-war rally, and said that the agency should review whether, and I quote, administrative or other actions is warranted for this. The Inspector General concluded that these were a number of specific cases rather than a bureau-wide policy. And I quote, the evidence did not indicate that the FBI targeted any of the groups of investigation or for investigation on the basis of their First Amendment activities. Now, I'm starting to worry about this inspector because it looks as though he's partial. And, he should be impartial, okay? Or express political beliefs, the report said. And continuing on this report, and I quote, we concluded that in several cases the FBI prediction was factually weak, and in several cases there was little indication of any possible federal crime as opposed to a local crime that, the average cop could have handled. it said that the FBI went to observe the 2002 protest by the Merton Center, a group based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that says it is dedicated to peace and social justice. And I quote, "We found no evidence that the assignment was made pursuant to a particular investigation or in response to any information suggesting that any particular terrorism subject might be present at the rally," the Inspector General stated. So how did they decide to investigate this thing? There was no inside information that any terrorist was going to be there. So, okay, we can put 1 and 1 together and come up with 2. In that the FBI has not only done this to the left, but they do it to the right. And if you're a Muslim, forget about it. You're getting entrapped. All right? All right, now here comes the third article. We got about 2 minutes, so I think we can get into it. And this is relevant to my case and also pertinent because it just happened. All right, Pittsburgh Tribune Review. Cranberry lawmaker asks why his rallies made terror list, by Brad Bunstein from the Tribune Review. Tuesday, September 21st, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. A Cranberry lawmaker yesterday demanded from the Rendell administration on why a taxpayer finance bulletin intended to identify terror-related threats included 2 Capitol rallies he organized this year. And I quote, "This is the type of activity you hear so many people talk about when they say what they think is wrong with the government," said Republican Representative Darrell Metcalf. Metcalf's annual Second Amendment rally, which attracts gun owners from across the state, was mentioned in an April bulletin to state Homeland Security officials by the Institute of Terrorism Research and Response, a York-based nonprofit paid $103,000 by the state. Yeah, it looks like we're about heading into a break, so I'm going to break off here, but I think you're kind of getting the point, aren't you? I think these guys are a little off the range, you know. They're doing it the way they want to do it, and they don't really care if it's legal. They will entrap you, especially if you are a Muslim, but not necessarily. You can just be a peace activist. Didn't we have something like this in the 70s? Didn't they call it COINTELPRO? Didn't it lead to the assassinations of JFK, Martin Luther King, and people like that? Weren't they spying on them and doing all kinds of nasty things to them under the disguise of national security? And that's my point, and that's where we're going with this. All right, so now you know. Anyway, our call-in number today, 742-1230, will get you in, 742-1230, and toll free at 888-671-7278. This show is for all you Nazis out there who kind of like this sort of thing. Think we should live in a police state with no rights. Well, I got something for you. Anyway, we'll be right back after this break.